I heard in the press yesterday that you announced you might run for president. So I was hoping here this evening you might clarify and make the official announcement. To kickstart it, Senator Webb, could you tell us why'd you write, "I Heard My Country Calling"?
Well, I get the mic. I have to say, I'm kind of uncomfortable sitting here. It's a great chair, but I can't. You can see the people in the back. Let me just stand up for a minute, if I may.
Sure.
Does that screw up the camera?
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, thank all of you for coming tonight, and thank you for welcoming me here. Those of you who have anyway followed my professional career know that I've spent almost exactly half of my time in public service and half of it out of public service, and this is a total accidental career from the time that I left the Marine Corps. But some people have asked why did you not run for re-election to the Senate, and this actually is the fourth time in my adult life that I have done a period of public service and then decided to go back to writing, which gives me, I think, a lot of independence and the ability to kind of reflect on things and gain, in this case, gain my political independence after having served in a group environment for 6 years. And I wanted to write again, and after talking with the publishers, potential publishers, we decided that perhaps the best thing I could do, since I didn't want to write a tell-all book about the Senate, I told my colleagues, you're all safe. No one's going to, or at least I'm not going to be writing about it. And I've done that in the past. By the way, I served in the Pentagon 5 years, four of them in the Reagan administration, and I met every morning with Cap Weinberger for 4 years, and you'll never see a word written about anything that was said when the door was closed. It's just the way that I believe the government should operate and should be able to function. So what I decided to do was to write what could best be called an early memoir, rather than write about the professional experiences that in higher levels of government or the Pentagon. I started thinking about, well, how about looking back at how I learned leadership, and how do you become who you are as a human being, and also having grown up in the military during a very unique period and little discussed period in our history. I decided to write about my family and to be able to actually thank my father and my mother, who had enormous impact under some pretty difficult circumstances, but also my grandmother, who had a very special impact on my life. So the book actually begins when I was very young, when my father went back into the military after World War II, and it ends with the beginning of this totally unanticipated career, where my first novel, Fields of Fire, had been accepted for publication after being rejected by 12 publishers, and allowed me, through its success, to be an independent writer, but also at the point where I first began working in government, when I, at the same time Fields of Fire was coming out, began working as a committee counsel in Congress. So it's kind of a prequel, if you would, to the things that people are more familiar with, and it's a unique thing for me, because writing about growing up in the military during that period is something people don't really fully understand. We'll get the mic back when I'm starting here. But you know, when our country fought its wars all the way until World War II, after each war we demobilized. The military completely demobilized. In fact, the United States Army in the 1930s was down to about 132,000 people. And General MacArthur is credited with saving the Army from going down any further by having volunteered to have the Army administer the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, during the Roosevelt administration. But at the end of World War II, we did try to demobilize. A lot of Americans now don't understand that. We pulled our troops home, we cut the weapon systems apart, and then we saw the emergence of the Soviet Union as a threat, and a very serious threat in terms of global stability, and also the war in Korea. And so we built for the first time a standing so-called peacetime army. And yet the military itself was not structured to take care of families, large numbers of families in this peacetime military. And so when I look at my career and the work that we have done in order to get family assistance available to our military members, I remember the time when my father deployed, when I was very young, for 3.5 years at one point, either overseas or in places where there weren't even family housing units available in different places. And when family assistance was my grandmother moving up to help my mom, who was 24 years old with 4 kids in a town she didn't know anybody, and that was what family assistance was like when I was young. So, long answer, but I wanted to be clear about the journey of the book.